Hey everybody, I'm David with Bolivar Live. Well, it's Monday afternoon and it's Insurance Talk with Priest Insurance. If you knew that what went on before we started these recordings, how many takes, because
You don't want to know.
I can't even remember half the time who we're doing a show on, it seems like, because we've got so many. But, you know, every Monday afternoon we talk with Priest Insurance about insurance, and it's mainly coastal insurance. Mm-hmm. But today it's coastal insurance, and we're just going to touch on it and let y'all know what's going on, but it's Cobra. You know, there's a lot of new subdivisions coming in down here, and there's raw land. Mm-hmm. There's raw land that's been subdivided at a certain point. There's raw land that wasn't subdivided that they're going in and making up lots now. And then there's Cobra land, which has a big effect on if you're buying a house. And let's just brief on it a little bit. Cobra land started back in, I believe, 1982. Mm-hmm. And what it was it's a FEMA regulation, I guess you could say, or something. But Parks and Wildlife was involved with it, and I'm learning about it. And it was land that wasn't adjoining anything with a structure on it, that they wanted to protect. It actually was started to protect the wetlands and leave natural habitat around. But they didn't think people would build on anything like that. But actually, like down here, we've got some new subdivisions going in on it. And so it's a little bit different on insurance when you buy it. And there's been some rumors going around that you can't get insurance, and certain times of the year you might not be able to. And like I said, I'm just really diving into this, and Dan's really diving into this to try and make it possible to get the insurance you need. But what have you found out so far? Because we're both just sort of at the starting point on this. And
that was a real big trash can of stuff that you opened up there. So from my perspective, let's kind of talk a little bit about Cobra. It was by Fish and Game, I believe, in '82, and it wasn't just for that. It also has to do with some protection for FEMA and the resources that they have, and potential maximum losses. So initially, and what we've run into so far is there are some older subdivisions here that are platted and that are existing, and really up to recently, that really only had an effect on flood insurance. The National Flood Insurance Program does not ride in an area that is the Coastal Barrier Resources Act,
which is Cobra.
So so because the NFIP doesn't do it, doesn't mean that there is not insurance available.
Options.
Yeah. So there are carriers that will come in and they choose to write flood insurance in these areas. They have their own set of underwriting guidelines, and they're free to set their own rates. It is a market rate. Okay. Until recently, that really didn't, for most of us, didn't really have a bearing on windstorm insurance, because you could still get windstorm through Texas windstorm, through on these areas that couldn't get NFIP flood but were Cobra. Okay, so there is a rule that is in TWIA. It's kind of didn't really matter to us here, because as the potential has grown, it just hadn't become a factor. Okay, but it is coming up now. So Texas windstorm has a addendum in their manual and in the House bill that they will not write Texas windstorm, on any area platted before 2000.
No,
after 2003. Excuse me. Thank you.
Yeah.
So when these subdivisions are coming up, it is now looking to become more like the old Cobra zone. So now in this area where we're in a Cobra platted after 2003, you can't get NFIP flood, right? Mm-hmm. But you can get flood in a private market, and you can't get Texas windstorm, right? So the challenge is now getting those getting those private markets on board with writing those, and we're working on that as we speak. And some of those markets will come and go because they're dealing with this thing called capacity, what they can write based on their reserves to be able to pay the claims. All right, so that's kind of a short version of that great big trash can you opened up.
But everyone's working on this.
Yeah.
In fact, just to let you know, Aaron and Franklin and I do a show every Friday afternoon, I believe, at 10, or Friday morning at 10:30, if I'm not mistaken. And we all met with Chandra Monday for lunch, and we were talking about this through an engineer's and a TWIA standpoint, because she is on the TWIA board. And she's been gracious enough, we're actually going to start these shows in the next week or so. So we're going to break down Cobra and define it, let you know she's actually going in and getting the resources to be able to define everything, so that when we're done with these shows, and we don't know how many shows, it may be 2, 3, 4 shows, but if you watch all the shows, you'll know exactly what Cobra is, exactly when it started, if the dates that make a difference on whether you can get the insurance you need and stuff. And so I'm excited about it, because I've been checking around and everyone's got their opinion on Cobra, but no one's really, and last night I started reading on Cobra and what it is, when it started, why it started, and I've read stuff from A&M to newspaper articles to the actual write-up on it, started it. And so, as Bolivar grows, there's only so much land here, and some of that land is going to be, Dan didn't turn his phone off before, some of that land is Cobra land. Some of it was subdivided before 2003, some's going to be after. And so that's what we want to do, is educate everyone on what to look for if you're buying a house down here, what to expect when you buy a house down here, and what we're doing to try and make it easier to be able to take care of everyone down here.
Right, and that's the importance, because David's talking about the people that are involved down here, whether it's builders or agents, real estate agents, or insurance agents, becoming familiar with what is here, and knowing how to get clients properly insured, so when the wind happens, that they need to be restored.
I made this up this morning. Since we're coming into fall and winter, we've had some freezes down here, so I included, because we've had a freeze down here, we've had a hurricane, and we've had flooding down here, and so we're sort of covered for the fall events and that. But anyway, this is sort of a open, unplanned show that I just wanted to let you know what we're working on in the background. Priest Insurance Agency's taking the time to educate and learn and look. I'm taking the time to educate mainly because I don't know about it and I want to learn about it so that I can answer questions, because I have had questions. So as things evolve, as you get answers, we'll come back with more shows and let people know exactly what's going on the insurance side of it, since that's your specialty. Mine's just sitting here trying to figure out who we're
and doing a really good job with this kind of stuff. I don't know when he.
I did that.
We got to find more for David to do.
Actually, usually I do it about 4:30 in the morning, but this was actually done about 8 o'clock. So anyway, but we're going to head on out. Remember, we do this show with Priest Insurance every Monday at 3:30, 4 o'clock, and it's always about insurance. We're coming out of hurricane season 2023.
You just have to say that word, don't you?
Yeah, things are looking good, and now we're coming into fall and winter, and so I'm sure we'll talk about freezes and what insurance covers
freezes,
that.
reviews, and the importance of them, why, and the possibility of things changing in your house, and why you need to talk to your agent every time you change something in your house, whether it's what you're doing with it or adding on, or anything.
That's right. So anyway, every Monday at 3:30, you can find us on any of our social media channels, but the best way to find us is on Bolivar Live TV, Roku, Amazon Fire. Just look up Bolivar Live TV. It's a free download. Or you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/AMZ at Bolivar Live. Same shows you see on Bolivar Live TV, just an easier way to find us. So, Dan, thanks for joining us. We're going to head on out. We'll see you next Monday with Priest Insurance Agency and another show, Insurance Talk with Priest. God bless, and bye-bye. Priest Insurance Agency has been located in the heart of Lumberton, Texas since 2001, providing a consultative approach and educating customers on how their insurance works for them throughout the coastal region of Texas. Priest Insurance specializes in the coastal region of Texas, covering home, auto, business, and recreational insurance. With ties to the coastal communities, Dan Priest has had the sand between his toes since 1972, with a home on Bolivar Peninsula in Galveston County. He survived a storm named Ike, but lost his home. With insurance coverage, his family was able to rebuild following the 2008 storm and continues to make memories beachfront. Priest Insurance specializes in the coastal communities, family dwellings, investment property, and business insurance. They've been there. Whether you're looking for or have a family retreat along the Texas coast, investment property, or a business, Priest Insurance would be honored to work with you and your family to make sure you're covered anytime trouble arises. For more information on Priest Insurance and their contact information, please visit their website at www.priestinsuranceagency.com, or their office is open for phone calls with questions and consultation Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. by calling 409-755-7600. Priest Insurance Agency, working and educating customers, making sure they understand and have the coverage they deserve.